1935, Jean-Francois and Mrs. Madeleine moved into this beautiful 1800s manor in Normandy, France. They started a life together here, giving birth to their daughter, Louise, in 1939. But soon, things would drastically change as the World War II began and Germany invaded France. Jean-Francois had no choice but to take up arms and enlist into the French army in defense of his country. But in May of 1940, he was killed in action during the Battle of France. Madeleine would never remarry. Absolutely devastated over the loss of her husband, she would soon see the misery of war with her own eyes as it made its way into Normandy, falling under German occupation. And despite the brutal conflicts in the small village, the manor was spared from the bombings. And eventually, the Allied forces liberated the town and advanced into Paris, bringing an end to the Nazi reign, and soon after, the war would finally be over. Over the years, Louise decided to start her own family, marrying later in life around the age of 40 and having a daughter of her own. However, Louise's marriage didn't last very long, and with Madeleine now in her 80s, Louise decided to move back into the manor along with her daughter and be her mother's caretaker. But tragedy would strike yet again in the winter of 1997. Louise and her daughter were on their way back from a trip to Paris when their car was struck by a drunk driver. They were both killed in the accident. Madeleine, no stranger to grief, took the death of Louise and her granddaughter very hard. Not much is known about Madeleine's well-being over the next several years, but in 2005, she passed away at the age of 87, having no one to leave this manor to. It's been sitting quietly abandoned ever since. So now, let's take a step inside of this place, and let's see what's still left behind. Alright, so we're walking through this pretty overgrown path to this place, and trying to be quiet because we're actually in the middle of a busy neighborhood. We just don't want to signal anyone or alarm anyone. So this is pretty much hugging the property of another house, so we're trying to be stealthy. So this is the house, and it's hugging this house right here. Here we are at the back door. It looks like either the entrance is going to be down there or up here. Okay. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, here we are. Let's see what's inside this home, shall we? So far, it looks pretty ransacked. This looks like the kitchen. Wow, there's a lot of stuff in this place. Yeah, it looks like a little dining room table. 2 refrigerators. It's a tiny kitchen. You know, I've noticed a lot of these European homes so far have been pretty big places with small kitchens. I don't understand why that is. In America, the kitchens are much, much larger. All right, let's keep going further into the house. Wow, look at this room. One of the things that's so interesting about these abandoned places is that you walk into one room and it's completely ransacked, and then you step foot into the room next to it and it's just magical and so well preserved, like this one. Wow. I will say, it looks like this room has been staged. I feel like someone came in after this place was abandoned and probably set a lot of this stuff up. That's pretty common in these abandoned places. people come in and use this for photos and whatnot. Oh, and look at this. This photograph is of this. It's very rare that you come into an abandoned home and you find an actual photo of the original state of the house when it was being lived in. This is very cool. And here's some of the dolls still left behind of the little girl who lived here that was killed in the car accident before she had a chance to grow up. This is very sad. Her teddy bear still left behind. Lots of stuff still on the walls and all these vases. It's such a haunting, ominous room. Quiet with the curtains blowing in the wind, stirring up the faint smell of perfume coming from the next room over. It's such a peaceful but lonely place. And look at this. This right here is a picture, I believe, of Madeleine and a drawing of her husband in the French army right before he got killed. It's obvious that a lot of love was in this house at one point. It's a really cool rug on the wall. And I noticed there's another rug here of another deer. You can barely see it through all the dust that's on the floor. So much stuff is still left behind. What all's in these cabinets here? Wow. All these cups still left behind. Glassware. It looks like jarred food from 1984. Wow. This one's dated 1996. I wonder what this is. All this glassware is still left behind in the cabinet. And over here too. And check it out. This cat, the pillow that the cat's on, looks like this pillow. It's just a little different, but it's pretty much the same pillow. Yeah, it's crazy how sometimes you can just walk into a house and you can just sense that so much love was here at one point. There's still like this residual feeling of love still left behind in this room. All right, let's keep going throughout the rest of the house. And also, by the way, guys, we have other urban explorers that just walked in. Unfortunately, none of them speak English, so we just kind of have to, communicate through hand signals. So this was definitely the dining room of the house. A simple French country dining room. This is by far the most accommodating room in the house. Countless generations have seen this room, all brought together of the meals they shared, the games they played, and even the stories they might have told that will never be heard again. Wow, this artwork is amazing. at this. This right here is for a horse, I believe, to carry a carriage. This is very old. This is probably to pump a fire, to give it oxygen to help you start your fire. I believe this is what that is. Right, if you want to know what this is, let me know in the comments below. This room is very, very cool. Look at this, these are roller skates. I imagine probably from the 1920s, 30s maybe. Old binoculars still on the table. No telling how long these plants have been in this vase. You can still see where the flower petals fell off of them. I love this china cabinet. It's completely full still. Sunglasses still on the table. Another vase, very old flowers still in it.
Car alarm.
Yeah, we hear an alarm in the background. Usually when we hear an alarm, we automatically assume it's probably for us.
The second alarm today?
Yes, the second alarm today. So earlier today, we tried to check out an abandoned castle, but as soon as we walked into the open doorway, an alarm went off. It's a marble countertop too, I believe. Really old antique furniture here. It's still in pretty decent shape. And look at this, a bird nest made inside of it, or made on top of it, rather. Okay, so this is coming into the, I believe, her master bedroom. I would imagine so. With all the bedrooms being on the second and third floor, this lady's body got to a place where she couldn't even walk up the stairs anymore. So this makeshift bedroom was made out of the dining room and partitioned off by the china cabinet and her wardrobe. And at one point, I imagine there was a big chandelier that hung right here where this rope now is. But look at this bed. This is beautiful furniture. And like I mentioned, this place is pretty ransacked. I can only imagine what this place looked like 15, 20 years ago. All kinds of family photos. I'm not going to show really too much of that because of privacy reasons, but I'm just going to keep moving along. Entire wardrobe. So check it out. This room right here is partitioned off by a wardrobe and a china cabinet. But at one point, this was like an extension off of the dining room. And look at this, all of her clothes are still in the wardrobe. Along with this section as well. This is pretty amazing. Pretty amazing, guys. Okay, so this is pretty much where we started out. And now there's a kind of a spiral staircase that goes all the way up to the top. Well, it is a spiral staircase. Look at this. Wow. It's crazy. Like, you know, it's really common here to find three levels on a house. And this one here also has 3 levels. Look at this big rug. Looks like probably a Persian rug here in the floor. It used to be probably very beautiful at one point. Now it's completely covered in dust and debris. So this looks like it was probably the little girl's room. Yeah, I think this was the little girl's room. With the pink walls. And the stuffed animal rabbit. The calendar is dated for 1992. I wonder if that's around when this place was abandoned. It's a beautiful bed. A really beautiful chair here in the corner too. Again, a really ominous room, really quiet room. And again, with the curtains blowing in the wind. It's just a very haunting place. Like this place feels very sad. Some VHS movies left behind, some books. I can imagine how difficult it must have been for the old lady to see this room, a place that once held the precious life of her granddaughter. Maybe this could also be why she moved downstairs. Perhaps it was easier to just not see the void that was left up here, to turn a blind eye to the reality that her heart was forever broken over the people that used to live up here, and just to live out her days in a house that's now gone quiet. So it looks like this is like a utility room up here with a little sink. No, this is a bathroom. I don't see a toilet though, but there is a shower behind the door here. Very interesting. I don't think there was ever a toilet in this room. I don't see any piping for it. Pretty random. So here's another bedroom. It looks like it was probably a little girl's room at one point. A big rug on the floor. It's a cool looking couch. Definitely a fan of that couch. This whole place is just sad. Also, I think it's just the fact that I know what happened here. So many of these rooms that were once lived in were people who died way too early. Sad room, a very red room. This is a really neat room. Very trashed in here, but not so much to where you can't still build a story out of it and kind of get a vibe of like what it was like to be here at one point. It's a really cool lamp in the corner over there. It's really hard to navigate around this room. Just trying to get a good view of the room without tripping over something. A lot of junk in here. I could probably go through this room for hours, but we don't have much time because we're on the way actually to a castle. And we decided to stop and check out this mansion on the way. And this mansion has been a pretty lovely surprise. Okay, so this is the last room before we attempt to go upstairs. It's a pretty empty room, not too interesting. This one's kind of emptied out. I imagine they probably use this as storage. Oh, and check this out. This looks familiar. A replica of a US dollar in France. Love that. Yeah, so I'm gonna go upstairs. As you can see, these stairs are completely dilapidated. Like you can literally see a hole through the floor.
I didn't risk it.
Yeah, Carter didn't risk it, but I'm gonna try it.
Wish me luck. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be able to catch you.
Guys, I don't recommend trying this at home. Yeah, I don't. Carter said he's not gonna catch me if I fall.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to.
Dude, really? Come on, man.
And if you fall, we're probably both gonna go through the second one.
Yeah, so it looks like this is actually pretty sturdy right here, and then about 5 steps up. So I'm gonna. Oh boy. Oh. Made it. Of course, the top floors of buildings are usually the worst floors because they're the most exposed to the elements. It is kind of cool up here though. Yeah, definitely was used for storage. You can tell at one point these were all bedrooms up here too. So I feel like this house probably has, gosh, 8 or 9 bedrooms. A big rug. Some bunks up here. Wow, out here in France. And just to think that we're also in Normandy right now, so there's no telling like what this house has seen, you know, throughout the years, especially with the World War II. Like this town specifically had a lot of activity with the US fighting the Nazis. So I can't even imagine the stories this house has to tell, you know? So this looks like the last bedroom of this house. Lots of storage though, and look at this beautiful lampshade. Oh my God. I love these yellow curtains. I love color, and this house definitely has it. It's very subtle, but lots of bold colors in this house with the curtains, some of the furniture. And here's like a storage attic. All right, so it looks like we've pretty much seen this whole house. I'm gonna go downstairs and meet Carter, and we're gonna head out of here. But first, I'm gonna go back across this stairway and not die in the process. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps up this exploration with Big Banks and I. As always, like, subscribe to my channel, and until next time, stay off the beaten path.